I'm Mark Wilkinson. I'm the NHS Director responsible for Life Sciences Innovation, and I'm a member of a national board which was set up to do three things. The first was to encourage the NHS to be more innovative, to increase the uptake of cost-effective medicines and medical technologies. The second goal is to make the UK more attractive as a site for research and development. And the third objective is to improve the strategic relationship between the NHS and industry. Right. So those are at a high level my three objectives. We have done quite a lot of work this year to understand the answer to that question, because in the Plan for Growth, which was published by the Treasury, the government made a request to Sir David Nicholson that he produce a report looking at how the adoption and diffusion of innovation can be spread across the NHS. So trying to answer just that question. And as one small element to that work, we've done a piece of work looking at the evidence, the published evidence on the adoption, diffusion of innovation in healthcare. And through that, and also through a survey of NHS innovators, we've managed to identify three areas that we need to see alignment. So these are the three areas that kind of answer that question. I think the first area that we need to pay attention to is ensuring that people actually see the value of the innovation. I think one of the things that people told us in the NHS is that if we look at things that the industry, for example, assert are good value, frequently people in the NHS are not actually convinced of that value. So there's something about explaining and perhaps demonstrating the value of the innovation if people locally are to feel that it's something they want to take up. I think the second area where we need to get alignment is what I would describe as a structural fit for the innovation. So this would take us into areas like tariffs, other forms of organisational incentives, or the costs and benefits within the same organisation. And then the third area is around what you might describe as the cultural fit. And this is perhaps where HIEX come in, because this is about networks, opportunities for knowledge sharing, collaboration, innovation champions, and all those type of things. So I think if we're to get the adoption and diffusion of innovation right in the NHS, we need to pay attention to those three factors: demonstrating the value of the innovation, the structural fit, and also the cultural components of it. I think that we need to begin by acknowledging that the NHS landscape for innovation is incredibly complex, and it's a real challenge both for the NHS and industry to actually navigate. So we did some work looking at all the organisations that claim to have some part in making the NHS more innovative, and we got up to a list of 84 different organisations, and that's counting HIEX as one and academic health science centres as one. So I'm not multiplying up. So it's a crowded landscape that I think is difficult both for the NHS and industry to navigate. I do think that there is a need to simplify it, to streamline it, and to sharpen up clarity for accountability and delivery. So this is not to offer any prescription for HIEX particularly, just to make a general comment about the NHS innovation landscape. I think in terms of where HIEX, it seems to me, can be particularly useful is in terms of organising the conference and the events that you organise today. It's also good to see HIEX practising what they preach and collaborating across the three different geographical areas within the Northwest. But there is an opportunity around sharing best practice, around knowledge management, and perhaps acting as a counterweight to some of the other changes in the NHS, which are more about fragmentation, seeing that can be a spur to efficiency. So whilst we have competition and we have markets and we have foundation trusts and all those good things, I think we also need a kind of a balancing counterweight about collaboration and cooperation, and that's perhaps where I see that HIEX can come in. I came to the conference because I wanted to pitch, to advocate to an NHS audience about my particular focus on innovation, which is about the case for collaboration between NHS and industry. And if the challenges around collaboration are difficult for the NHS, then the challenges when it comes to working with industry are even greater. So I came to the conference to kind of advocate that and to make the case for closer working. If we look at medicines and medical technologies, they play an absolutely central role in the delivery of healthcare on a day-to-day basis. Yet the relationships between the NHS and industry are not as often as developed as they need to be. So I came to make the case for collaboration between the NHS and industry in pursuit of the goals of transferring knowledge and transforming care.